You can hear Overwatch in the background. What map is that on?
Game changer. The dream team. Woohoo!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 6 Torbs?
The payload moves.
Armor up. No running.
Exquisite.
Onward and upward.
Big slam! Hey, y'all wanted original Overwatch. Here it is.
Someone called the ambulance.
Wait, is that what I think it is?
Never die.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the past.
All right, Chad, how you feeling? Tomorrow. Megan, are we good, by the way? Tomorrow, it's tomorrow, right? We're playing in a 6v6 show match for this, too, by the way, with a bunch of streamers. Tomorrow. So, just so everybody knows. Let me tell you, by the way, not saying anything about this was tough. Because I know people were excited about it, and I saw people going with this stuff. Let me tell you, dude, this was a tough one, okay? Sometimes you can't say anything. Like, I found out about this last week, and to not say anything the whole time was tough.
Setting up the car wash.
Well, you gotta keep the surprise, okay? Oh, man. So, just to clarify, there's gonna be 3 different versions of this, by the way, chat, so you're gonna get patches throughout it. So the first week, if I recall correctly, is gonna be, like, Overwatch at release. You can play 6 Winstons, you can play 6 Cassidys, you're getting the original balance, then they're gonna start to balance it a little bit. I think you're gonna get to GOATs at one point. So it's gonna be like an Overwatch classic type of version of it. So you're gonna get a couple things that you'll see where it goes. I don't know if it will be GOATs, actually. I have no idea, but you're gonna get a couple versions of it. But the initial version is exactly 2016. Now, keep in mind, I'm gonna see some people say this, okay? Because I know people are gonna argue this. People were like, yeah, but Fortnite's doing their permanent version. Keep in mind, Fortnite already started with a very classic version to begin with. They released it early, and it was a classic. It was a limited time event. So could this be the step in a direction where they do something like this? Who knows?
Feels good among
Either way, I think it's going to be fun. Yes, that was one of the first questions I asked, by the way, was will there be Hook 1.0? Hook 1.0 will be in the game. Apparently, this is like an untouched version of Overwatch at release. Just so you know. So if you want to hook people above by 20 meters, you can do it. This is the release version of Overwatch. Yes, Mass Res is back. All of that is back. Yes. Yes. So like this is like if you installed the game in 2016, that is what you're playing. Here we go. A blast to the past begins with Overwatch Classic. 8 years ago, Blizzard released a completely new game and world called Overwatch. Garrett, thanks for the 40 months of the feature spine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Connected by a theme of fighting for the future, millions of you jumped into experience new heroes like a time-jumping adventurer, an esports champion turned mech pilot, and a genetically modified gorilla from the moon. Together, we all fought across fantastic battlegrounds from all corners of future Earth, including Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, King's Row, and Dorado. Now, you'll be able to relive the nostalgia in a series of new limited-time events in Overwatch 2, where you can experience the original heroes, abilities, and maps in the classic 6v6 team-based action you remember. Get ready to answer the call for Overwatch Classic. Each Overwatch Classic event will feature heroes and balance from popular moments in the game's history, ranging from the fast-paced and frantic gameplay of the 2017 Moth meta. That meta was something, but anybody who has not played the first version of Moth meta will not begin to understand how strong Mercy was. To the triple tank, triple support style of GOATs, in the first Overwatch Classic event, we're taking it all the way back to the original 1.0 release from May 2016, which includes many abilities that haven't been seen for years and all the chaotic gameplay from that era. Patch 1.0 first introduced us the first 21 heroes and 12 maps across 4 different game modes. Many of the heroes had high risk but high reward gameplay. By the way, chat, if this is the patch I'm thinking of this, go Cassidy and right-click a tank. You're welcome. If this is the patch I think it's going to be on, go Cassidy, throw a flashbang over a shield, and right-click a tank, and I want you to realize how broken that was, by the way. There's going to be so many broken things that you're going to look at this and you're going to go, this was the balance? This was what the game was like? You will see. There is going to be some things you're going to see in Overwatch. You're going to be like, holy crap. But it was fun, and that's what mattered. We had a good time with it. That's when a new game comes out, by the way, when a new game comes out, that's the exciting part. You're learning the game. It's not solved. It's not figured it out. There's no meta really. I mean, there's meta, but it's not like intense, right? To give you an idea, you know what the backline was back in the early days of Overwatch 1? Mercy Lucio. That should give you an idea. Anyway, you'll also be able to, you'll also be able to flex with 1, 2, or even 6 tanks to form your frontline defense. Plant multiple turrets. By the way, Overwatch launched, just so you know, Overwatch launched with no hero limit. We're not talking role queue limit or role limits. We're saying if you wanted to play 6 divas, you can play 6 divas. Just so you know. Deadmans, thanks for the feature prize. Thank you. You can have 6 Torbs. Plant multiple turrets on the payload and constantly boop or hook your opponents into the Ilios well. Expect heroes like Widowmaker to be a constant threat, or be careful as you try to peek around corners, as Hanzo's scatter arrow can strike you before you can see it. Terrible to play against. Junkrat and Diva mains will need a Oh, wait, is this back in? Oh, no! Junkrat and Diva mains will need to watch out as their own weaponry can harm them. Is this the patch where Diva... Okay, if this is the patch I'm thinking about, Diva's ult kills you. Just so you know. Diva's ult kills you. Your own ult. So if you ult as Diva, and you're next to your own ult, you're going with him. You're going with Diva. I just want you to know. Cold Ramen, thanks for the $2. Thank you. I just want you to know that. Junkrat also does self-damage, right? Like, when you do damage, like Junkrat does damage to himself the whole time. Anyway, and you'll be extra pressured to attack or defend the objectives, as Symmetra's teleporter will be able to transport players from their spawn directly back into the action. Finally, watch out for Mercy to swoop in after you make that stunning quintuple elimination, as her Resurrect ultimate will instantly revive all her fallen allies at once. Chat, you now get to experience the 5-person Mercy mass res that we had to deal with for multiple seasons. Get ready, because you're in for a treat. You just had a quick... Wait until your callouts from your Mercy are just die, I'm not healing you, die in point, you're not getting res, die in point, or you're not getting res. You better die in point, otherwise you ain't getting res. So there you go. Back to that. Anyway, explore the original abilities, regrouping heroes in their 4 original classes, but you are not required to play attackers when on attack, or defenders while defending. The reason why that point was made is because back in early Overwatch 1, people would get mad at you for picking too many defense heroes, picking too many attack heroes, when in reality, they were completely off on that one. Pick the heroes that work best for you. Also, in the first few days, Overwatch Classic will play the no hero limit rules, as the original release didn't enforce hero limits. So you can have up to 6 of the same hero for any meme comp you want. After that, we will enable single hero limits for the remainder of this first Overwatch Classic event, which I'm okay with. Listen, if they're going to do an Overwatch Classic, I'm okay with them starting off like doing like different versions of the game, because maybe there ends up being one that people really like, and then if they ever do an Overwatch Classic, that's like the patch they fall on, right? Happened a little bit with WoW Classic, where they had to fall on a patch that made sense for for enjoying it. So that was something they did in WoW Classic too, where they wanted to find what is a patch that would be considered a fun one that didn't really do whatever, right? So anyway, in general, each hero will be able to power up their ultimate ability a lot faster than Overwatch 2, as the general ultimate charge cost was much lower back then. It is true. I was going to say something, but I'm reading the next sentence. Also, any heroes that can be interrupted out of their ultimate can have a portion of their ultimate charge salvaged, dependent on when the interruption occurred. The amount of times you would kill a Lucio mid-beat, and you'd go, yeah, to realize they have beat again, was the worst feeling ever. It was awful. I'm so glad they fixed that. I don't think you will realize this, chat. Health pools, damage outputs, and projectile sizes are also reverted to before the Overwatch 2 Season 9 update, so you don't have to do that. All right? And then they're going to show you, like, does this show you, like, what they do? Yes. Oh, wow, they have a what's different for each hero. You want me to go through these, chat? Yeah, why not, right? So you're going to see all the abilities, but I'll explain what's different. So, we'll start off with Cassidy. Cassidy says, Cassidy truly brings Wild West action in Overwatch Classic. His damage output will be more increased than what you may be used to with in Overwatch 2 with damage from Fan and the Hammer dealing 70 damage per projectile. That's what I said, by the way, chat. Cassidy's flashbang is restored to its original form, which heroes caught in its blast will be immobilized for a few seconds, leaving them vulnerable to attack. Finally, Deadeye has more versatility, as Cassidy can cancel from firing and save up to half of the ultimate charge. So one thing you could do with Cassidy was you could high noon, right? And then you could stop it, and then you get most of your ult charge back. So it was definitely interesting time. Genji. What's different? Genji's Dragon Blade won't be able to be ignored so easily as he can jump. Oh, I forgot about this. As he can attack up for 8 seconds. Genji is also more mobile, as double jump will reset as you wall climb. And also this means that can you do the launch? I imagine you can do the Genji launch, right? So if you go to an edge and you dash, you can go flying in the air. Like a ledge jump. I imagine ledge jump will be in the game in this. So ledge jump is also a thing. You can basically, like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Okay, Pharah. What's different? Pharah's original kit allows her more opportunities to stay in the air longer and can have more potential to boop opponents from ledges using her concussive blast. She also deals more damage with higher splash explosion damage from the rockets in her rocket launcher. April Sherry, thanks for the 3 months of tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks. No, Genji,
Blankies.
you'll see what I'm talking about, by the way. You talking about the Genji doing that? You'll see what I'm talking about when we watch. Reaper. What's different for Reaper? Aside from the broader damage changes in Overwatch 2, Reaper's passive, the Reapin, will return to its original form where soul orbs will be dropped from defeated enemies that Reaper can pick up to gain 50% HP. Also plan how you use Wraith form as it cannot be canceled early. Keep in mind, chat, you don't get lifesteal now when doing damage, just so you know. There's no like, wait a second, did they do the map fixes? Because there's oh my. Did they do the map fixes at all, or is this like original maps too? I only asked that because there's a bunch of unintended Reaper spots where you can be out of the map and do dumb stuff. The amount of patches we had for like a year and a half straight saying they fixed an unintended spot for Reaper, if people revisit that, it's going to be wild. I just want you to know that. There were some things you could do. I don't know if it's happening with the maps, but if it's original maps, good luck. Oh, maps are still Overwatch 2.0 versions, including reworks? Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. We're good on that one? Okay. Oh, man. Soldier 76, you said you already played this. Can you get new content? What do you mean? It's tomorrow. I mean, there's a new patch tomorrow. It's not just this. All right, Soldier 76. What's different? Soldier 76 has had mostly tuning changes throughout Overwatch history. His heavy pulse damage rifle deals less damage at 17 damage per projectile, but the rifle has no recoil and will instead have increased spread the longer you hold it. This is a fun version of Soldier, by the way. Tracer. What's different? Tracer's time travel and playstyle has been relatively unchanged throughout Overwatch's history. With tune-in changes to her pulse pistols and pulse bomb being the biggest adjustments, expect the pulse bombs to deal incredibly high damage that can finish off most heroes. Wait, pulse bomb will get kills now? No Suzu? No Lamp? What is this? All right, defense heroes. Bastion. What's different? Bastion's original kit is much different than what you play with today. Bastion is a tricky hero that can keep chokeholds nearly unpassable when staged in sentry form, firing a volley of machine gun fire. Though he cannot move and has a limited amount of ammo while in sentry form. Keep in mind, sentry form is just like sitting there, right? This makes his biggest weakness getting attack from behind easy to exploit if the opponent can flank around him. Don't forget to use the self-repair to heal Bastion when you're not dealing damage. Also, watch out as Configuration Tank will deal massive bursts of damage as he freely roams the battlefield in tank form. So, a little bit different for Bastion, but a lot of damage. Hanzo, don't worry, Scatter Arrow is back. Just want to point that out. What's different? Hanzo's most notable change was swapping his original specialty arrow, the Scatter Arrow. This is a powerful choke buster attack which will launch a volley of projectile reflected on the walls, which combined with the Sonic Arrow is a great way to stop a flanking target that may be hiding around the corner. Hanzo won't have his lunge jump passive either, so his mobility is more limited. Now, they forget to mention in this paragraph here, you can get one shot as a tank by Scatter Arrow. I just want y'all to know this. I'm not joking. You can one-shot a tank with Scatter Arrow. I just need that to be known, okay? I just need that to be known that you can one-shot a tank, okay, by a Hanzo Scatter Arrow. Okay, so I'm just glad we got that one across. Junkrat. What's different? Junkrat has a lot more risk to his own health, as damage from his frag launcher will be dealt on him as well. Concussion Mine only has one charge, which will limit how Junkrat can use the ability to jump into action or deal damage to opponents. Good luck, Junkrat players. Mei. What's different? Many of you will find Mei's original kit to be much cooler. Literally. The primary fire from Endothermic Blaster will quickly freeze individual enemies, allowing Mei to deal an icy cold elimination with the alternate fire. Also, the ice wall will be a more formidable obstacle to take down, with each pillar having 500 HP. Now, I don't know if they fixed this, but are you able to walk through each individual pillar? Because the way I remember it early, right? The way I remember it early in Overwatch, you'd write this blog, heck yeah. The way I do see this, if I recall correctly, you couldn't break one pillar to get through. Like, some heroes couldn't go through the pillar. So the tanks needed, what, 2 pillars? Right? Like, you needed to break multiple of the pillars to help tanks, or like something like that. It was definitely different. Just to point that out. On to Torb. What's different for Torb? Torb's original kit is about building his tools and resources out of the scraps fallen from both allies and opponents. Collect scrap to deploy armor packs that you or your allies can pick up for additional armor HP. When you use Deploy Turret, a small, low damage level 1 will be placed, but you can use your Forge Hammer to upgrade it to level 2, which is the same turret that now deploys automatically in the live game. With the original Molten Core Ultimate power-up Torbjorn, with additional armor and faster movement, and instantly upgrade a level 2 turret to the missile-launched, rapid-fire and level 3 turret to secure any battleground. Level 3 turret is back. Widowmaker. What's different? Widowmaker is far more lethal, with faster charge shots and more damage dealt at long range. However, Widowmaker will be more vulnerable each time she uses Grappling Hook, as it uses a longer cooldown. Yeah, Widow's just dominant. There's a reason why, if you remember early Overwatch, you just saw a lot of Widow players, because Widow's good. All right, on to the tank heroes. Now, by the way, the reason why you're missing some heroes on this list, chat, is because this is original Overwatch. So this is the original cast, to give you an idea. So, like, I think the first hero that was released after this was Ana, just to make that clear. All right, Diva. What's different? Diva's original kit is more static and lacks the micro missiles ability that would be added later in Overwatch. It is pretty bad. Notably, her defense matrix continuously channels the field for several seconds between a 10-second cooldown, and Pilot Diva can be damaged from the blast of her own self-destruct ability, which takes 4 seconds to explode, making it a challenge for Pilot Diva to stay out of the blast radius of the devastating ability. So there you go. Diva's going to be interesting. There's going to be somebody who dies of that Diva ult who has no idea and get confused. Reinhardt, what's different? Well, Reinhardt... Oh, hi, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on. While Reinhardt won't have the advantage of 2 charges to his Fire Strike and a smaller HP pool, his Earth Shatter will have more horizontal and vertical range to catch enemies off guard. Also, he will be able to mitigate incoming damage, as his barrier health is much higher than in the live game. Ryan's pretty good. Ryan was like a classic. Are these happening tomorrow? Yes, these are happening tomorrow. Also, is this a good time to mention that if there's going to be Twitch drops tomorrow too for like a brand new Reaper skin, so make sure to stop by for drops tomorrow. For people who like to farm their drops, we'll be streaming all week. Roadhog. Roadhog is a lot different in this. It's a very interesting version. What's different? Roadhog's kit has often received tuning adjustments based around his ability to hook and catch opponents. Carefully avoid the hook, as it will catch anything and everything around him and can deal a lethal 1-2 combo between his scrap gun and melee for an easy finishing blow to most low HP heroes. I do want to point out to you here, chat, if this is Hook 1.0, which I'm pretty sure it is broken. I'm not talking like, you move behind a wall and you get hooked. I'm talking that I could be playing against you and you have a wall in front of you and I hook over the top and I fish you out. I just want you to know that. I can fish you out of any part of the map. You're going to know right away if it works that way. It is broken. I just want to point that out. It is broken. All right, next up we have Winston. Winston here is what's different for Winston. Winston's kit will be missing the long-range attack from his Tesla cannon that was introduced in Overwatch 2. Also, carefully time your placements of barrier projector as cooldown starts only after the shield expires instead of when it's deployed. A quick summary here. Winston's just pretty good. Zarya, what's different? Originally, Zarya had separate cooldowns for particle barrier and projector barrier, so be careful of when you use either to protect yourself or your teammates. However, Zarya's ability to gain energy from these abilities is much higher than in the current live game. I'm going to give you a tip, chat. You ready for this? There is a glitch that I'm pretty sure will be in this patch, where if a Rhine fire strikes you, just once, you now have 100 energy on Zarya. All right? It was glitched where like the fire strike would travel through the front of the bubble and then through the back of the bubble. So it would give you 100 energy. So one bubble will give you 100 energy in this version of Overwatch. All right, so there's all your tanks. This is, keep in mind, they didn't like remove any tanks. This was the initial launch of Overwatch, okay? And then for the supports, and yes, you're reading this right, there was only 4 supports to start. First up, we have Lucio. What's different? While the identity of Lucio's kit has remained the same, I was just going to say, I know what this is going to be. His crossfade will feel the most different, as it provides a radius of 30 meters versus the 10-meter range in his current kit, but with less healing to his allies. However, this enables him to be a great character to help rush his team to the next team fight with ease. Chat, I want you to understand. Look at the circle right now. When you play Overwatch today, if you do, and you see the circle around Lucio, it is 3 times the size of that. Okay? So I want you to, just to give you an idea, 3 times the size of what it currently is at. Is this going to be in YouTube? Yeah, I'll upload this whole part. I just want everybody here to recognize that will be a thing. Okay? All right? I'm just letting everybody know that. Anyway, so there you go. Okay, Mercy. And don't worry, all the Mercy players, exactly what you're hoping in the game is in the game. What's different? Mercy's Resurrect as an ultimate works as a great team fight counterplay, allowing her to target up to 5 allies in range to be resurrected immediately. Watch out if there are multiple Mercy players on your team, as the benefit from her damage boost can be multiplied. Mass res, more damage, good luck. Symmetra, yes, the support Symmetra. What's different? Originally categorized as a support hero, Symmetra's kit was more geared to provide an utility to her allies than dealing damage directly. Her Photon Shield ability grants your allies with additional shield health, which can regenerate as long as they are not eliminated. With Teleporter as her ultimate, you can place the exit teleporter anywhere on the map and be linked directly to your active spawn room. Consider playing more than one Symmetra to create complex sentry turret fortifications to wash clean any chokeholds from your opponents. I'm going to be real with you. It's been a long time. Sim was in a rough spot during this part of the game because they try to make this a support hero. And that was the problem. So, yeah, it's an interesting... you'll see. Sim's an interesting hero in this. And then, last but not least for the heroes, we have Zenyatta. What's different? Zenyatta's kit remains relatively unchanged, short of not having his snap kick passive that was added later. However, watch out. You ready for this one, chat? Watch out for his Orb of Discord, as damage amplification increases 50% of the damage received on its target. Zenyatta is exactly what Zenyatta is now, a glass cannon. And there you go. Now we're on to the map section of this blog post. Quite an in-depth one. You'll play on the 12 original launch maps that appeared in Overwatch Patch 1.0 across the 4 original game modes: Assault, 2CP, Escort, Hybrid, and Control. So, for anybody who's new, this is something that you probably haven't heard of or seen, or you've heard of the stories, you've heard about the myths of 2CP. You get to experience it now in the way that we got to experience it. Okay, Assault maps are challenging maps where a team must try to capture 2 objective points that are defended by the opposing team with the time limit. You'll have to enter through a small choke the size of a Tic Tac in order to be able to get through there and cap the point. I added that part in, by the way. Wait till you see the chokes on these maps. Good luck. All right. We got Hanamura, which everybody has seen Hanaoka now. This is inspired by this map. You can actually see the entrance. If you're on Hanaoka on one of the defense, you can actually see the spawn of attackers, kind of, on Hanaoka. Then we have Temple of Anubis, also Throne of Anubis is where this was based off of. So you see Temple of Anubis. This map was horrible to play, but a lot of people do like this map. I get the appeal. It sucked to play because it was so choke heavy that once you got the second, you got stuck. All they needed to do, by the way, I just want to go back to this. All they really needed to do on 2CP was move spawns back a little bit and then open the choke, and it might have been salvageable to be able to play like long term. Straight up. I'm just saying. The choke was the issue, and the spawns were a little bit too close. I'm not saying it would have perfected it or made the mode better, but I think it would have increased it a little bit and that's where the... So, yeah. That would have been interesting. All right, next up we have Volskaya. Volskaya, which is, Volskaya. You haven't seen this map before. If you're an Overwatch 2 player, they haven't done anything. I wouldn't doubt it if the next map is the next Clash map will be a Volskaya base map. Volskaya is interesting. It plays... I'll just let you experience it. I don't even need to tell you. I'll let you experience it. Control maps are an all-out brawler. Both teams work to capture an objective point and hold it long enough to score without letting the other team do the same. Best 2 out of 3 wins, chat. You know these maps. You got Ilios, you got Lijiang, you got Nepal. They were in the map. Wait, is this best of 5? Or 3? I only asked that because... Oh, best 2 out of 3. Okay. You did say best 2 out of 3. That makes sense. Because this, by the way, Koth used to be best of 5, and it was quite frequent. You would have 100 limbs, but I would say, it'd be nice if it was still best of 5, but just to give people that real experience. All right, next up we have Liege. Oh yeah, sorry, there you go. Escort maps will have a team help escort a payload throughout a map. You know these maps by now. Reach the checkpoint, all that. You got Dorado, but apparently this is the reworked version. You got Route 66. Man, Route 66, that was released. Was it? I forgot. You got Watch Point Gibraltar. Those are your 3 maps. Then you have hybrid maps, which are Hollywood, Kings Row, Numbani. So there you go. So there's all that, all right? So this is all the stuff you're going to expect from the Overwatch Classic launching tomorrow. Now we have the FAQ. When can I play Overwatch Classic? You can play it from November 12th to December 2nd. Now, I know there's going to be some discussion on that one. I do want to point something out here. Even like Fortnite started off with a limited time classic version, and now they're doing a permanent version, right? So I look at this as like a way for people to see how this feels. Maybe there's some things that people end up loving, and maybe there's a reason they bring it back in some way, right? We don't know. Is Overwatch Classic the team's answer to bringing back 6v6? Overwatch Classic is separate from our broader 6v6 plans. Overwatch Classic is meant to be a nostalgic experience, taking heroes, players in the game back to the moments in the game's history for limited time events. So, I get it. Is this a way to test bringing back 6v6 permanently in Overwatch 2? Nope. We are running separate 6v6 test modes in future seasons to gather feedback and gauge players' interest on that format. See our recent director's take for more information on these tests. Hi, Arnie. Is this a separate game from Overwatch 2 that I have to install? It's not a separate game. I don't have to read the full sentences, but no. It's going to be under an event in the arcade menu or the events hub. What is the game mode for Overwatch? Yeah, you can play... What's the game mode? I mean, we know this one. You'll play quick play rule set using the original 21 heroes and the 12 original launch maps. Keep in mind, by the way, before anybody goes, oh, why not ranked, etc. If I'm correct, ranked wasn't launched at launch, right? Just to reiterate this, like not ranked, but ranked wasn't a part of launch. Just so people know, at one point in Overwatch, if I recall correctly, they didn't even want ranked. By the way, it wasn't until I think the beta, where players were like, are we going to have a ranked? And they're like, oh, yeah, we should probably do that. But initially, there wasn't going to be a ranked. They wanted it to be more of like a casual, just play quick play, have a good time game. But then, obviously, it kind of turned into no, we should also have this have a competitive mode, which I think was the right play. I think having a comp mode was correct. I think people just like to try to go for that. There's still more quick players than ranked players in Overwatch, but I do think having a ranked mode is good for pretty much any game. I think that's good to have. So... but yeah, anyway, you can do all that. Will maps be restored to the original version? Overwatch Classic will use the 12 original maps that first launched. However, maps will appear the same as they do in other Overwatch 2 game modes. This includes the reworks for Dorado, Numbani, Route 66, and Gibraltar. You want my hot take on that one? I think that's okay. I know there's going to be some maybe some pushback on that one. I think that's okay. I think we've all played, for the most part, these versions of these maps at some point, and the reworks happen for a reason. Straight up. They happen for a reason because these maps needed these reworks back in Overwatch 1. I'm going to be real with you. I thought Dorado needed those changes back in Overwatch 1. Anybody who watched my stream during Overwatch 1 knows how I felt about Dorado and knows that all I was asking for was them to rework the map. But they never did. So I'm okay with that. I think that's okay. I think that's okay to have some of these like quality of life improvements on it because it just makes sense, right? It's already going to be scuffed with everything else. We don't need to make it be on the maps. All right? Did no changes? Listen, I've been down this road as somebody who's played some WoW Classic. I know how that goes. Even in the WoW Classic, they end up making some change, like small changes, not a ton. Well, actually, the original version, I don't think they did. I think they've done it later on. But okay, can I equip my favorite skins, including Overwatch 2 skins when playing? As part of the nostalgia of playing Overwatch Classic, players will only be using the original default skins for this event. AKA, there's probably something they couldn't do to get the skins to work for that. All right, why weren't legacy features like loot boxes, the original UI, or comp mode included in Overwatch Classic? We focused on our heroes, maps, and overall gameplay. With Overwatch Classic, and the scope allows us the flexibility to balance these events with other exciting new gameplay. Okay. Will Overwatch Classic ever return? Is this just a one-time thing? While we're not planning for this to be a single event, we will be measuring player response to inform our future plans. Basically, if people like it, they'll probably do more modes of it. Why not? Anyway, that is that. I will say one thing, chat. That is super exciting, though. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to revisit a game that I haven't played this version. I mean, straight up, we haven't played this version of Overwatch in 8 years. Over 8 years, by the way. Actually, 8.5 years because May was the release of the game when we're towards November. Yeah, it's November.
I'm so excited.
Think about that. So it's gonna be fun. I think people are gonna have fun with it. They're gonna see where it's. I just want to give people one thing going into this, just to point this out. It is going to be scuffed. If you were going in this expecting it to be balanced, expecting it to be like, oh, I've heard all about this, this is one of the most unbalanced versions of Overwatch you will ever play. But that also was the fun part. So go into it, have a good time, have zero expectations on the balance side, and just have a good time. That's what I'll say to it, okay?
Go.
That's just like kind of the advice I have in that one. It's just like, it's gonna be scuffed, it's gonna be wild, it's not gonna be like, you know, it might even be different than how we remembered playing Overwatch, right? It could even be different than how we remembered playing Overwatch. But overall, just remember that it's a fun time. Enjoy it. I know a lot of people are probably excited to go, and I'm sure this will be happening. People are going to be excited to go tell their friends who haven't played in years that this is going to go there. And you might even see a good amount of people just play with their friends for like a couple weeks here just because they got to play the game they loved years ago with their friends. So, and it's kind of a good time. It's a little bit before other stuff. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to trying it. There will be a show match tomorrow. I'm not going to go too details because it's actually a sponsored thing. So I got to make sure I have all the right stuff and, you know what I mean? Tim and Siegel better make a reunion tour in Overwatch Classic. I don't know who's playing. The only thing I will hint is that Flats and I are playing in it. That's all I got for you. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen the updated show match list, but it's if it was the list I saw, people will be pretty happy. But tomorrow we'll be playing a version of it. I think it's at 4 o'clock. I want to say it's 4 p.m. tomorrow. 4 p.m. Eastern. I think that's when it is for the show match.